just over last year, there's more than 100 million IoT being attacked. Right, so this is a alarming number you can see from the attack just last year itself. And then also the other thing is CIO is also looking at 40% of the CIO treat security as a number one investment because of all this cyber security and everything. So and then 68% of this are not within the CIO budget. And then the worst part is that the IT only have less than half of the IT team to do the same job. That means you have less to do more. So these are some of the data that we see, right? And if you look at the typical network management, you will have from a traditional on-prem approach to a network management, you will see that you have the infrastructure, whether it's a switching, wireless LAN, Wi-Fi or routing, and then you have a single pane of glass network management. And with that, there are many other components that come with it. So you may have a network management, you may have a network access control, a NAC, and then maybe some application inside Layer 7 application. The other two module that is very important going forward is security is also one of them. And then the other two module, like I mentioned, is the machine learning and AI and also IoT. So these are the two that require a lot of data and a lot of resources, right? So network using network management, the on-prem network management, you have a limitation. You can do all the other management, like I talk about security and all those things, and network access control. But 66% of the organization used to actually want to use cloud because they want to add machine learning and IoT management, especially IoT require a lot of compute power and all those things because the IoT device are you have a lot of IoT devices on the network in the next couple of years, right? So the on-prem solution will have an issue, which is what we see as a broken glass, not single pane, but a broken glass in on-prem. If you want to add machine learning capability, artificial intelligence, and also behavior analysis, intent-based networking, all these require very huge data, which require cloud, right? So that's why people are looking at cloud right now. So if you look at the cloud market trends, earlier on we talked about 75 billion devices. With the amount of devices increases, it actually created two more requirements. So basically, if you look at digital transformation by the next 2 years, we are looking at least a $2 trillion projection for digital transformation. And then 7 billion will be in the next 3 years for cloud networking. So people are moving towards cloud because of this. You can see there's a huge investment on moving towards cloud, right? So, and why are people moving towards cloud? Based on the survey that we have done, basically it's mainly for simplicity, to be able to provide to provision and manage device easy to use and at the cloud speed. What do you mean by cloud speed? Basically, you can continuous innovation and delivery. You can have feature that is added on the fly, right? And also value-added services in order to integrate with the back-end system. Like, for example, a location-based solution for a retail environment where the shopper will be able to actually look at based on the location and get a promotion or even wayfinding to locate a particular store. So those are the value-added service that people are looking at. And then, of course, you have the scalability. With the cloud, you can scale, you can start from small and then grow your network in the multi-tenanted environment. And also security is one of the things. With the cloud, there's some certification that I will talk about how secure is the cloud. And then last but not least is the smart, which is self-learning, machine learning, AI, that I mentioned earlier on, that people are moving towards cloud based on all these requirements. So in reality, everyone has a cloud or at least a message of the cloud. Whether it's by nature, you have different, not all the cloud are the same in nature, right? a different kind of cloud. And then from the networking perspective, you also have different kind of cloud, right? Not all the cloud are the same. So you have first gen, second gen, third gen, and fourth generation cloud. So let me go through what are first gen cloud. So basically, first gen cloud are the cloud that is actually run on the VM. So basically, you have limited flexibility and also is a single tenant. Basically based on single tenant, and you just virtualize the server to put in the cloud. That's Gen 1 cloud. And then the Gen 2 cloud, basically you add in some analytic to improve the SLA by having multiple instances to provide redundancy, and also that's where multi-tenant come in with the second generation cloud. And then you have some continuous delivery, but it's still, and also based on some microservice. Those are so most of the vendor today, cloud networking vendor today, like the competitor are on Gen 1 and Gen 2 cloud. So you can see the names there. And then you have the cloud native today, the third generation cloud. So third generation cloud, basically, they have continuous development, continuous operation, and important thing is serverless computing. So it's not single, it's basically serverless. It can be anywhere running anywhere. So there's no single point of failure, right? And then you can have service improvement. That's where the AI and ML can add in. So today there's only two vendors. That is that one of us, one of them is us. And then over this year, starting this year, we actually move to the fourth generation cloud. So what is fourth generation cloud, which is our Extreme Cloud IQ? Basically, fourth generation cloud, now, instead of you using microservice, you have containerized microservice that you can actually dynamically increase the resources pool that you need. And then fourth generation cloud will provide you 11.9 data durability. That means in a million year, you have only one bit loss, right? So that is the kind of reliability you get. So with the fourth generation cloud, we can have dynamic segmentation. So you can segment your network so that it will not affect your network if one of the device get infected or what. And also, it's also platform independent. I can run on different platforms. Later, I'll show you what are the platform that we can support. And important thing is dynamically, we can increase the capacity as your network grows. So this is a fourth generation. We are the only vendor that today is running on the fourth generation cloud. So if you look at, so with the fourth generation cloud, so cloud will drive effortless. So there are three things that we are looking at in effortless, which is simplicity, simple way to deploy and scale, right? And also smart means that I can deliver machine learning AI capability to provide you insight and analytics so that the system will do self-diagnostic and all these things, self-healing, right? So those are things. And then security to ensure that your user, your device, your IoT device are secure, are protected. So these are the three main things that cloud will drive, which is simple, smart, and secure. So let's look at Extreme Cloud IQ. What is Extreme Cloud IQ? So basically, Extreme Cloud IQ architecture, we have actually a global data center, which is GDC, and there's multiple GDC to provide redundancy. So the GDC will give you a customer with the admin login, single sign-on, so that you actually can access to the cloud. And then the GDC will be able to provide you to manage all the OS version, the images, and all those things, right? And then we have what we call it the regional data center, which is RDC. RDC are actually performing all the network management work, maintaining customer managed data from device, from the client information, and also the application. And then important thing is that all your customer management traffic will be stay within the RDC. You will not go to the GDC, right? So that's how the RDC works, right? And then if you look at the Extreme Cloud IQ, we have a lot of RDC in the world. So just look at Asia Pac itself. We have 4 RDC, one in Tokyo, one in Seoul, one in Mumbai, and one in Sydney. And we also have a private cloud, private data center, which is a private cloud that you can actually, certain customer want to have a private cloud. We do have one in Sydney. So these are RDC that provide connectivity, and your data will stay within there. Right? So if you look at the normal day at the medium RDC, there will be at least 35,000 cloud account in each RDC, right? And we are looking at 300 million network events, right? More than 4,000 admin login, about 8,000 config pushes, right, to the network. And then you have about 1.3 million client connected, right? And there's about 20. I will show you this data in the live network later on. So cloud, what is the benefit of using cloud? So basically, within our Extreme Cloud IQ is basically flexibility. In terms of flexibility, we give you the deployment choice. So you can have a public cloud, which is built by us, or in some case, you may want to run on the private cloud. That means the cloud owned by you, right? Or you may want to run on-prem solution, local. We call this local on-prem cloud, right? So whether you use public, private, or on-prem, the hardware that we provide can run on any of these clouds. Today, you may go into on-prem, then maybe 6 months later, your network grows so huge that your on-prem solution may not be able to handle. Then you can move to a public cloud, and the same hardware that you have, whether it's a switch or AP, can be run on any of these cloud, whether it's on-prem. And important thing is the license portability. Whether your license is on-prem or private cloud or public cloud, it can be transferred. It can be transferred from one cloud to another. And important thing is whether it's a switch or the AP, you can actually use the same license to transfer. Right? So this is license portability. Right? Second benefit is simplicity and efficiency with the Extreme Cloud IQ. Basically, you centralize, you do a configuration, and you onboard the device. And then at the remote location, you just plug and play, and you will provision. So you plug your AP or switch on the network, make sure you have internet access. The cloud will discover the devices and then push the configuration that you already configured in the cloud into the device. And then your device is ready to operate, right? So that's very simple. Plug and play, right? And in terms of availability, so I show you this No 99. In fact, on the 16th of April, which is just a week ago, we actually achieved 100% uptime for one whole year of our cloud. So no cloud vendor can claim that we are 100% uptime, right? For one whole calendar year. And in terms of service availability, we have a lot of redundancy built in. So even though you lost connection to the cloud because of your internet is down or your network have a problem, all your user operation will not get affected. Your AP suppose you will be able to forward traffic to your network locally, right? The only thing you cannot do is you cannot manage your network. That means you cannot add new services or add look at the configuration and all those things. You cannot do this. But other than that, operation-wise, it's not affected. So that's the service availability that we provide. Right? And then in terms of security, our Extreme Cloud IQ have achieved ISO 27001 certification. We are the only vendor, a networking vendor that achieved ISO 27001 in the cloud. Right? And we also provide GDPR, which is the General Data Protection Regulation. Some of the customer may not want to store information in the cloud. We can actually provide that flexibility, right? So if you look at the security, not only we use the cloud security, which is the ISO 27001 Extreme, we also add other security measures like firewall, threat detection, continuous monitoring. For example, if your IoT device supposed to do a specific task, like, for example, let's say you have a camera, right? Task of a camera is just to send video traffic to the server. But if for some reason that device try to do SSH to another server, we can detect that as an abnormal behavior of this IoT device, and we can block that device. We can isolate and quarantine that device. So that's the kind of security that we add. And then also DOS attack prevention. If there's a DOS attack, we will actually block that device. Right? So there's a lot of other security measures that we add in. For example, the staging, hardening of the OS, periodically backup, and the backup is all encrypted. So those are the things that we add security on top of the ISO 27001 certification. Right? So another thing about Extreme Cloud IQ is we are cloud platform agnostic. So we can run on any cloud platform. We can run on Amazon, we can run on Google Cloud, we can even run on Microsoft Azure. So like, for example, in the retail environment, they don't want to be on the Amazon cloud. So we put retail customer on the Google Cloud. For some enterprise customer, they want to be running on the Microsoft Azure cloud. We provide that flexibility. So we are the only cloud networking vendor that is cloud agnostic. I can run on any cloud platform. We don't stick to Amazon only, or we can run on any of this. Right? So if you look at in terms of data retention, we have a 90 days data horizon. We can store the data for 90 days. Most of the vendor in the network will only store data less than, some of them are only 2 weeks, some are 3 weeks, mostly are less than 1 month, but we give you data retention up to 90 days. And if you are a retail customer, we let you store the data for a year. So depending on the use case, we can actually let you store longer data, right? Longer duration of data. So Cloud IQ is basically all API driven. So there are various ways of providing API. So we have this analytic and insight. The one that later I'll show you, the analytic insight, basically using webhook. So we are actually doing data streaming to the external application using webhook to actually stream the data to your third-party application so that you can collect all those data and do business analytics based on the data. Right? And then we also provide custom application and automation using REST API. So REST API, you can actually pull and push the data as and when you need it using the REST API. And the third method is the Cloud IQ user interface for location service solution. We actually provide some what we call it present location dashboard that give you insight information based on your location, how many people are in the, I will show you a demo on the retail later on in the retail dashboard to show you what this can provide you. Right? So we have various kind of API that can integrate with your customer backend system. Right? And then as Anne mentioned earlier on, our mission is to provide a cloud-driven end-to-end enterprise. So not only the AP, but also we will integrate our switches, whether it's a edge switch, core switch, or data center switch, eventually will be managed by the cloud. And today, with the fourth generation cloud, we are managing over 1 million managed device and more than 10 million connected clients. Right? And I will show you the dashboard later on, the cloud view, to show you some of this number. So at the end of the day, we are trying to automate everything, all the way from the wireless to the core to the data center, all managed by a single cloud IQ. So this is what our mission, right? To automate, to provide everything with using a cloud IQ. So then you say, why Extreme Cloud IQ over others, right? So there are a few reasons for that. So first, we will provide machine learning and artificial intelligence. So you can start with data collection. So we have all the devices, whether it's a switch, the AP, or data center switch. We collect all this data, huge data. And this can be done using the Connect, which is what we call it free. You buy an AP from us, you buy a switch from us, you can connect to the cloud without any subscription. Right? So that's data collection or configuration, basic configuration. Then we add information like self-learning, self-healing, self-optimization. So that we call this pilot. So we just launched the pilot last month on the 6th of April. The pilot will give you machine learning and AI insight information so that you can do self-learning, self-healing. The system will try to troubleshoot and learn itself, right? And then we add the next level, which is what we call it co-pilot. So co-pilot will provide you self-testing, self-organization, and self-diagnostic. That means the system will do troubleshooting and diagnostic itself, and then you can predict that this hardware is going to fail, and then warn you that you have a hardware that's going to fail. Before it actually fails, it actually let you know so that you can actually fix it before the user complains, right? So those are co-pilot. And then the next level we're going to provide you is autopilot, which everything is done automatically. We have self-configuration, self-collecting, and then self-securing. All this thing is done by the system using the machine learning capability and the intelligence that it collected. And then you make changes by itself. And then you just let you know that the system do this to improve user experience. Right? So this is something different from the rest of the competitor. We have 3 levels. So we have 3 different levels of subscription that you can get. Start from pilot, and then you go to co-pilot, and then you go to autopilot eventually. So this is an example of the benefit of Extreme Cloud IQ. So you have your hardware automation, your intelligence, and then you add in assurance. Assurance will tell you your scorecard of your network. How good is your network? Whether it's up and running in excellent condition. If there's any alarm or what, you try to fix it, right? So this is the benefit you get from the Extreme Cloud IQ ML AI capability, right? And then with ML and AI, you require massive amount of data. We are looking at 1 terabyte of data per second. The device are sending a lot of data to the cloud for analytics so that we can do comparative analysis. We can compare this network to another network similar size and give you where is your scorecard, right? So those are the things. So this is an example of the information that we collected. So if you look at the data daily, we collect about 6 petabyte. 6 petabyte daily. 1 petabyte is equivalent to 13.3 years of HD video. So with 6 petabyte, we're looking at 80 years of HD in a day. That's how much data we process. I will show you a demo later on with this information, right? So what are the benefits of extreme cloud driven? Basically, there are 5 things we're looking at. Earlier, I showed you end-to-end solution, whether it's a switch or it's an AP or data center, we can be managed by the cloud. So it's end-to-end. We're not just managing AP only, but the whole portfolio that we added in. And then we provide choice for cloud, whether you want to run on-prem, you want to run private cloud or public cloud, we give you a choice, right? And the important thing is that the license portability, you can port from one cloud to another, right? And also, we show you the cloud agnostic. You can run on Google, you can run on Amazon, you can run on Microsoft Azure, right? So cloud choice, platform you can choose. And then in terms of security, we have the highest quality of security. We give you ISO 27001 certification for our cloud. We added a whole lot of security measure to protect your network and your devices and also your application. And in terms of machine learning and AI capability, there's a depth of capability that we add in. So self-learning, self-healing, self-diagnostic, and also self-configuration. And eventually all this will be done automatically so that you do not go and look at all the detail. The system will do it for you, right? And with all these features, also it save cost. With cloud, basically, you don't need to worry about getting a data center, load all the hardware there. Everything is based on subscription base. So you can start small and grow your network using a subscription. So you can purchase the subscription, whatever feature you need, you can just add it on, right? If you don't need it, you can remove it, the subscription. So it will save you a lot of cost. So that's more important. So these are some of the benefits that Extreme Cloud IQ can provide you. And then you have cloud-driven basically is flexible, agile, security, and technology. Right? So we're looking at centralized management, provide you visibility, and then provide you with new automation, machine learning capability, and AI so that you can actually do self-diagnostic. So this is what the cloud-driven IQ can provide you, centralized management. Right? So now if you look at from the product perspective on the wireless side, we have a whole list of wireless 802.11ax, which is Wi-Fi 6 AP that we can support. So on the left is the value tier. AP305C is a 2x2 MIMO AP value tier. Then we have the middle one, which is the enterprise grade. So this AP410 will provide you with tri-radio capability. So you have a 2x2 for 2.4 gig and 4x4 for 5 gig. And then you have a third radio, which is based for a sensor, used as a sensor to provide you wireless intrusion protection or location services. Right? You can use a third sensor to do troubleshooting and all those things. So, and then you have the right hand side, which is the premium class AP. So we are looking at is 500 series AP, 510, which basically 4x4, 4 stream. So the top AP with the C there, which is cloud AP, and then bottom, which is the 310, 410, and 500 series. Those are on-prem and also can be cloud. So you can actually all these AP are already cloudified. So today the Cloud IQ can manage all these AP, right? These are all the Wing AP running Wing 7 operating system can be managed by the cloud, right? In terms of visibility. Right? So these are all the new AP that we have currently running in Wi-Fi 6 AP. So we have indoor, outdoor, various forms. Depending on what is your use case, you can actually pick one of these AP. Right? And then, so let's look at Wi-Fi 6 AP. So 510C, basically this is a 4x4 MIMO in 2.4 and 5. And this one actually support dual 5 gig. So you can support two 5 gig. You can configure both the radio as 5 gig. It has also a 2.5 gig interface and a 1 gig interface. So your Wi-Fi 6 require more than 1 gig. So you need a 2.5 gig Ethernet port. This AP also comes with BLE, ZigBee, and USB port that you can actually connect other devices as a sensor, right? And it also has PoE. It requires PoE plus, but it can also run on PoE. If you have PoE, you will drop from 4x4 to 2x2, right? And this AP have redundant PoE. So there's two ports, 2.5 and 1 gig port, both can provide PoE to power up the unit. This one, actually, we have two versions, the internal antenna and the external antenna version. Right? And then, over the so the 510 was released early last year in April, more than a year ago. And then recently, this year, we actually launched 3 more products. The 460C, which is the outdoor AP, with a tri-radio, and it have 3 flavors. You have the omnidirectional version. We also have a 60-degree sector antenna built-in and 120-degree antenna built-in. Depending on which model you pick, you get the built-in antenna. So it can be an Omni, can be 60, can be 120 degree. And then we also released 410C in February, and then the 305C last year, November. So these two are indoor AP. 410C is a tri-radio. 305C is a dual radio with 2x2. 410C is 2x2 on 2.4 and 4x4 on 5 gig. And these two radio actually have a light sensor. So we call it a green edge. Basically, it have a sensor to detect that, let's say in the office environment, you switch off all the light, people go home. The AP detect that there's no light, then it actually shut off the radio, so you can reserve your energy, right? So it's an environment friendly AP, right? And for existing Wing customer, so if you have a Wing AP, Wing 7 AP, and a Wing controller, you can actually manage this via the cloud. So the Cloud IQ can actually manage the Wing AP. So the controller will send the information to the cloud, and you get the visibility of all the wireless capability, right? For the switches, these are the switches. So April 4, we support all these switches, X440, 450, and 460. And the switch can be managed by the cloud. So we also have the SR2208 switches, PoE switches, the low-end switches, and the exhaust switches. So now you can actually support that from the Cloud IQ. I'll show you a demo, some of this. So to summarize, basically, cloud-driven solution basically provide end-to-end portfolio, whether it's an edge switch or Wi-Fi, campus switch, data center switch. You will be managed by Cloud IQ. You can have an on-prem, private, or public cloud. And then on top of that, we have all these applications: security, access, automation, insight and analytic, and also the management and orchestration, plus the open ecosystem to integrate with the third party. So this is basically the end-to-end cloud-driven portfolio that we are talking about. So with that, let me do a demo on the Cloud IQ. Let me log in to my Cloud IQ. I'm going to show you the what I call it, the retail demo for this. So it will take a while because I'm going to connect to my network. So I'm going to do a retail demo. So this is accessing the cloud that we have in the GDC. GCD is actually the Google Cloud. So you can see the retail is now in the Google Cloud, right? So let's show you the cloud view here now. So if you look at the cloud view, earlier on I'll show you that because this changed daily, right? So today we have 5.7 petabyte of information, right? And you can see these are all the customers that we have. The color differentiate, like the dark color, we are looking at close to 100,000 devices. The light blue one is about 75,000, and this is 50,000. The very light blue one is 25,000 devices. So you can see APAC itself, we have quite a number of customers in Asia Pac, right? So if you look at current activity, number of clients, we have close to 1,993,000 clients. And per day, we have 1.8 million clients per day, right? We are looking at a daily session about 55 minutes, right? And the management event, 4.63 billion management event, right? So these are number of VIQ is actually the instant, the cloud instant that we have for the customer. There's 93,000 of them, and then 767 devices managed by cloud, which is the AP or switches. Number of login, you look at it, is about 8,000 over login per day, right? And then over here, show you the client distribution. Half of it is iOS, the other 2/3 is Android, and then some Windows 7 and others, right? And then if you look at the special client, special stream, predominantly, most of them are still on 2x2 MIMO because all the new devices, smart devices are 2x2. You have still some legacy 1x1 devices. I will say about maybe less than half, and then some 3x3 MIMO devices, about 1%. In terms of channel utilization, a lot of them are still on 20 megahertz. 80 megahertz getting popular because of the smart devices, the new devices, the AC devices that support 80 megahertz. And then you have 40 megahertz also on the 11N devices. Right? So these are the distribution you can see from the cloud view itself. Right? There's a lot of information. So let me show you the Network 360. So Network 360 actually give you a very good view of your entire network, depending on how big. So I have all these locations. Right? So let me show you one location only. Right? So I can zoom down to main store here, right? So this is the main store. I have about probably close to 10 AP here, right? And the location of the AP. Now I can look at the topology view. This is something very new that we provide. So you have a topology view to see how are the device connected, right? So I have all this AP that is connected to this store switch, and this store switch is connected to the router and then go to internet. So that is the view from the topology. You can look at all this link here. If you see the link rate, it means that there's some connectivity problem between this AP to the switch here. So this one will give you a good view, topology view, right? And then here actually show you how is a scorecard of your network overall. So by one look, I know my network is good. My device, 96% is excellent. Client, 84%. Wi-Fi means all your radio, 94%. Network, which is your network site itself, because sometimes the problem may be a network site. And then the services is mainly your DNS, your DHCP services, and the application. So let me go through one by one here and show you. So in the device view, you look at number of AP. So it gives you a graph. So like I said, we store data up to 90 days, right? So you can zoom or you can scroll to the number of 24 hours. Last 24 hours is a device. What is the score? 96%, right? 10 devices are connected. All are connected. None of them disconnected. In terms of configuration firmware, 44 of them are updated. The other 6 haven't updated the firmware, right? And then in terms of hardware, health of the CPU utilization, memory are very low, which is good, right? And then also any alarm that is coming out, right, from the device. So this one gives you a device view, that means your AP or switches, right? And then you have the client view itself. So from the client perspective, you have 86%, which is quite good, right? Your 75% of the Wi-Fi score. Network is 100%, application is 100%, which is good. So 2.4 mainly 5 gig. So you have 11 devices on 5 gig. So these are the channels that have been used. And most of the device are 1 by 1 and 2 by 2. You can see that. And then this is a channel utilization. What channel has been used? Right? Channel 1, 2.4, 5 gig, right? And then the supported channel bandwidth, 20 megahertz, 40 megahertz, and 80 megahertz. You have device that's 80 megahertz. Spatial stream, 1 by 1, 2 by 2. What kind of devices? 11 GN and AC devices, right? So these are the devices from the client itself. And then you can look at, now I want to look at network. So in terms of network, unicast traffic, broadcast traffic, my network availability, what is the performance, internet performance, 18 milliseconds, which is good. And any 2 gig usage is about 2 gig, right? Availability and all these things, right? Gateway, connection, what is the latency of the AP. So this one give you network view, which is good. Sometimes may not be the Wi-Fi when you want to look at network. And then the Wi-Fi view, right? Wi-Fi will give you the signal strength, right? Over a period of time, let's say over 24 hours, I want to see my Wi-Fi view. So 94% is very good, right? My SNR is 31 dB. Channel utilization, 1 interference, and the rest is about 64%. It's still quite okay. And then your association ratio, 2.4 versus how many clients, right? And also the SNR value. All these things you can have a look at it in more detail, right? So this is from the Wi-Fi itself. And then you can look from the Epic DHCP, right? Just look at so you can look at your services. Services refer to the back end, like your DNS server, your DHCP, whether it's working properly, what is the delay from the DHCP, right? And if you have NTP, what is the NTP delay? So this one give you a very good view of your back end itself, whether it's working normally, right? And then your application. Now you can look at application. What are the applications that is using in my network? Perimeter, you have a lot of people go to Amazon and Target quite a lot, right? And then you can all the percentage, which store from where and all those things. So this view will give you overall view of this. And then if you want to look at heat map and all this, yeah, it can be done. So I can go into heat map now. Let's say I'm going to look at 360. The 360 plan will give you the heat map, right? So I can look at my coverage, RSSI, is it good? So far, very good, all very good. And then I can look at SNR value. Where's my SNR value? 25 dB, very good, right? Channel utilization, all these things, whether my channel has been utilized properly. So you can look at all this. So this is, you can look at a particular floor and all these things, right? Whether it's 2.4 or 5 gig, you can actually look at that also, right? Now I want to show you Client 360. Client 360 is the next level of client that give you more information on the client, right? So you give you the average RSSI, the signal strength, Wi-Fi, supported mode, right? From the store. So let's say I want to pick a client. Let's say somebody complain, oh, maybe my client have a problem. I can search the client here. Let's say client name James, and now I'm looking at James Galaxy. So this one actually provide you a view of how James Galaxy S8 is connected. So it's connecting onto my AP, this AP number 4 on VLAN 1, and user VLAN, management VLAN is 1, user VLAN is 151, 1511, 1512, and all those user VLAN. It also connected to my store switch 1 on port 24, and then the router, the VPN, all the way to the internet. So you can see end-to-end connection from here, how it's being connected. And here will give you the view of where is this device here from the location perspective. So James is around here, connected here, right? And then you can go down and see more information about the performance, right? He looked about 5.8 and then 58 meg over the last period of time. These are the AP that you roam, right? So it show you association, authentication, DHCP, gateway, and DNS. Any of this rate means there's some problem, right? So you can look at the delay here. What is the average time and all those things, right? How many milliseconds for roaming and all those things, right? All these are shown here, right? So I can actually change this view to, let's say, a week. Let's say I want to look at a week data, right? So now I got more information here, right? So a week of data, right? So I can see whether this guy so far so good, right? All this information is available from the client itself, right? And then you can look at the application. What is he doing, right? So he spent most of the time in Amazon, right? And Target and some SSL traffic. So you can look at application itself, right? And then from the client is running 40 and 80 megahertz, 11 AC, right? One by one. So this is from the client 360, which is really powerful, right? And then now we can also look at comparative analytic. Comparative analytic actually provide you based on your number of AP, your retail store, I can compare with another retail store, same size and where you score, right? So which is quite good, 50% in number of clients and all those things. So we can give you this kind of comparative from the machine learning because we collect so much data across the entire network. Now I can do comparative between your setup and some other setup in the same size. What's your score, right? In terms of client, which is 100%, which is good, right? So this is comparative. So the other thing I want to show you is the retail dashboard. This is something that just now all those information I show you is for the IT manager. The IT manager is interested in the connectivity, your connection and all this. But now we also create a dashboard for the storeman, right? So if I'm a store manager, I'm interested in this. I don't worry about what connectivity. All this is done by the IT. But the store manager will be interested in this kind of dashboard, like how many users currently connected to my network, where are they, right? 6 of them are in grocery, 3 of them in the deli. The location will give you this information. How many people come in first time? 70% are first time. 61 of them, 70 of them are first time, 61 of them are repeat, right? How much time they spend how many of them spend 30 minutes one? How many of them spend long time? All this I can give you the average shopping time. And then average time per department, right? So in the retail earlier on I mentioned, we actually store up to a year of data. So I can go for 1 year and show you. Actually 13 months. We go up to 13 months, right? So I can show you 13 months of analytics, right? What is the information that you get? So this is really useful for a storeman. So I can pick and choose which store I want to look at from the insight itself, from the analytics, right? So this is the retail dashboard that we created for a store manager. So next, I want to show you what we call it, the co-pilot. Remember I talked about machine learning and AI. So we have a co-pilot that will be launched probably in the next 3 to 6 months, right? So assuming you have a network setup and there's an alarm come out in Vancouver. So in this case, I have an alarm in Vancouver. Let me click on the alarm and see what is it. Okay. So the alarm tell me that I have a event. We discover one device that need attention. So let's see what is this device. So I click on this to show me, okay, this device is a AP connecting to the switch and all the way back. So there's some alarm on this device. Let me click, what is it? So it say that based on the advanced analytic machine learning there's some problem. So let's look at what is it. So from the analytic, from the machine learning data collected over a period of time, all the metadata, we find that this AP has some issue that may fail in maybe a week's time, right? So it predict that this AP is going to fail in a week's time. So they ask you whether do you want to send a new AP. That means you ask for what they call it, RMA, right? Send for RMA. So yes. So I say, yeah, your RMA have been processed. So basically what the system do is create a ticket to my GTAC and log a call to the GTAC saying that we want to do RMA for this device. So depending on your SLA, let's say your SLA is 48 hours next business day, right? So next business day, the system will already prompt you saying that there's a new AP coming in with this serial number. Do you want to onboard the AP? I say, okay. Now I got the AP coming in. Let me onboard the AP with this serial number. So I onboard the AP onboarded. You receive the AP, right? So now you go and replace the AP, the 40 AP. Click here. All the configuration from the previous AP will be loaded to this AP. And then your AP is replaced and is running successfully. So you avoid one failure that will be happening. So this is what the Copilot can provide you. Predict that there's some problem, replace it before the user complain, you already know, and then you fix it. So now you prevent one outage. That is the kind of Copilot that we are talking about. Okay. So that is the demo I have for Extreme Cloud IQ. So now we go and talk about air defense. So basically, we have this security platform called Air Defense. Basically, with the wireless, everything changed, right? In the past, you have firewall that block traffic coming from the internet, but now in wireless, I can be sitting anywhere and actually connect to the network, right? Whether it's a parking lot or a rogue AP or what, I can actually access. So what does the wireless security concern? Basically, there are few security concerns. One is someone plug a rogue AP on your network and then they connect using rogue device, try to connect to this rogue AP. Now I can access to your network, right? Or someone may take a laptop and convert into a AP and advertise the same SSID as your AP. So now your client will try to connect to this AP and then I can steal all the client information, right? And then the other one. The third one is you may configure an AP plug onto your network, but you may not follow the compliance. Let's say your company policy requires 64-bit encryption, right? For the WPA, but you configure WEP. The system will be able to detect and tell you that you have a non-compliant AP. Right? So these are the third one. And the fourth one is basically you may have a laptop wirely connect to your network, but wirelessly connect to an outside network. So now your laptop become a launch pad for hacker to come in and access your network. So these are some of the security concerns, right? So with Air Defense is actually currently it's an on-prem solution. Basically, you have your AP, basically act as a sensor and then send the information back to the appliance. Then we can do dedicated sensor or radio share sensor. If we are using our AP, I can serve the client at the same time do sensor, right? So you can provide 24/7 basically provide you with all the security forensic analysis of this. So what Air Defense can do is we have actually more than 200 over threat signature can detect all kind of rogue detection, right? And then we actually, because the sensor is sitting there collecting data is 24/7, so I can provide you with forensic analysis. So we collect like 325 plus statistic per device per minute. So there's a lot of data that we collect. And then since we collect so much data and store in the data store, now I can rewind back and tell you what is the problem 2 months ago, right? I can rewind back 2 months or 3 months, depending on how long you store the data, right? And we can see all the threat and all those things happening, right? So this is what Air Defense can do advanced forensic. We can do PCI compliant, HIPAA compliant, depending on which vertical that you have, right? And also we have a live view to provide you connectivity and packet captures capability. So So with air defense, now I can geofence your environment. I can actually do a geofence so that people from the parking lot cannot access. Someone plug a rogue AP on the network, I will block it. Someone misconfigure the AP, I will tell you this AP is misconfigured. If someone try to connect laptop to outside AP, we can detect it and block it also. So this is how we do it. So the reason how we can do this is we have 4 engines. Protocol abuse engine will detect all various 802.11 protocol. Anomalous behavior. Basically, if a hacker, they will try to scan and all this, we can detect, okay, this is not a normal user. We can block that also, right? And then the signature analysis, we have the 200 plus signature, right, track. And then we have the policy manager that detect whether you have non-compliant. So all this data are collected. Once we detect any of this by the sensor, there's 3 things we do. We either wirelessly terminate the device. We can block the wire spot where you plug a rogue AP on the Ethernet switch. We block that port on the switch. The port can be managed, right? Or we can do a wireless access control list. So these are a few things that we can do with air defense, right? And then if you want to know whether your network is PCI compliant or HIPAA compliant, we do generate this kind of report and tell you how compliant is your network. Right? So we can generate those reports before the auditor come and audit your network. You can run this first and see whether you are compliant or not. So from the rogue AP detection, there are various kind of rogue that we can do, right? So first one, most of the vendor can do it. Rogue AP on the wired network with the AP there. This is, even the controller can do it. But number 2, rogue AP on the different segment may not be able to detect, right? Let me move my mouse so that I can show you. Right? And then rogue AP using encryption, right? Which you may not have a sensor there or a what they call it AP there, or rogue AP on the ACL non-routed user VLAN, or even a rogue AP on the server farm where there's no wireless network. So most of the vendor will not be able to detect 2, 3, 4, and 5 with their onboard whips, right? So to do all this, you need the advanced air defense whip to detect it. And then another one is AP sitting in the car park, advertise we call this evil twin. So some of the onboard whips on the controller can only do 1 and 6, but 2, 3, 4, 5 cannot be detected by some of the rope, the whips that is coming from the controller. So you need air defense. Air defense can detect all this. And beside providing you with a rope detection, we can also use the sensor to do wireless vulnerability assessment. You say you have a firewall. How do you know your firewall is working? So we use the AP to actually do a pen test to test your firewall to make sure that those ports supposed to be blocked will get blocked. Especially if you have a server, payment server, if your wireless device can access your payment server, something is wrong on the firewall. So you need to block that, right? So this one will help you. You can run this vulnerability assessment every month to check how good is your firewall on the network, whether there's any holes. And then forensic analysis, like I mentioned earlier on, we store the data in the data store. Now I can rewind back 2 months ago to see what happened, whether there's a threat or something happened, right? Because a lot of time, user tell you, oh, there's a problem, but it's last week, but you don't have the data. Now I have the data to see what's going on. And then beside Wi-Fi, we also do Bluetooth detection, right? So we can do, if there's a skimmer in Bluetooth that steals some information, air defense can detect using the Bluetooth, right? So basically, in the Bluetooth scenario, we detect, locate, and then we send an alert to you saying that, okay, these are the Bluetooth device on this network. Please carry a bit, right? So not only Wi-Fi, but also Bluetooth. So that is air defense in a nutshell, right? So now you look at Defender for IoT. So why IoT? Basically, IoT, some of this IoT device running on very old operating system, especially if you have an MRI machine, they may run Windows 98 or 2000 where there's no patch available for security, right? Or some IoT device don't even have it, right? So basically, it's just running like a sensor. So someone can hack into a sensor. There's a scenario in the casino where the casino actually have a fish tank. The fish tank is connected to their network, and the fish tank actually have a sensor to detect the temperature of the fish tank and also provide some food to the fish, right? So the hacker actually hacked into the fish tank sensor and got into their network and get all the high roller information. So this is the kind of security breach that IoT is very vulnerable, right? So that's why you need to defend the IoT devices. And also we developed application for non-IT staff, like maybe in the healthcare environment will be a nurse or doctor can onboard all these IoT devices without knowing VLAN and policy and all those things, right? So you can actually overlay this network without changing your network. So that is security and simplicity. So what is in the Defender for IoT solution? So we have three components here. You have the Extreme Cloud Appliance, which is appliance that actually manage all these IoT or access devices, right? And then we also developed a Defender application that basically provide you with application so that non-IT guys can actually onboard any IoT devices. And then, of course, the Defender access hardware. So there are two hardware. One is the AP3912, which have 4-port Ethernet port, and the other one is a SA201, which is a wired IoT. So you have a wired IoT device you can connect to this. The AP will provide the wireless, so you can provide policy layer 2 to layer 7, right? So these are the three components that you need, right? So how is a deployment architecture? So you have a centralized Extreme Cloud Appliance that manage all this, and then you can actually do bridge or over IPsec, right? Or you can connect to a Fabric Connect solution or traditional VLAN. So let me show you an example. So this is a Defender IPsec overlay solution. So you may have a traditional campus network, layer 2, layer 3, or right, layer 3 network with MPLS and all those things, right? So what you could do is we could put the IoT appliance on the left-hand side here, Extreme Cloud Appliance, and then at the edge here you can have the IoT Defender, which is a SA201. So this may be a ECG machine, right? Or it may be a AP connecting to a infusion pump wirelessly. So this SA201 will create a tunnel all the way to the appliance and then link to the server. This may be a radiology server, right? That provide cardiac service, right? Or it could be an infusion pump sending information to this server. So you have a secure tunnel, right? So this is standard traditional campus network overlay with. So you just need to buy this and this one, right? and the application, right? Another solution is traditional IP network, right? Same thing. You have the AP or the defender, and then you create all the tunnel all the way, right? From this device to this device. From this one all the way to the device. So you can have a tunnel created, right? IPsec tunnel created from the AP, right? Or if you are using Extreme Fabric solution, Extreme Fabric Connect, so we can extend the fabric to the edge called the fabric attach. So all these devices can be fabric attached to the fabric, and then you create a hyper segmentation end to end to the device. So that's how you do. So there are three different ways of doing using the connectivity. So, like I mentioned earlier on, we have this application that can do profile creation. So I can, let's say I have an IoT device here. I have a Defender here. I plug the IoT device here. So we run this profile creation, right? So you open up all the port. The traffic from here will flow to your server, and then you will capture all this traffic. And then you apply the policy to this Defender here, so that no other traffic will pass. Only this traffic will pass. Other thing will be dropped by this box. So this is like a mini firewall, will drop everything except this traffic go through. So that's how we protect. So if someone hack into here, or someone hack into this device, you will get blocked, right? Or if this device get infected, you will not infect other device, right? You get blocked. Right? Similarly, if an infusion pump, in some wireless infusion pump, if someone try to steal some information, you get blocked also. Or try to access this, you get blocked. So this is how you protect your IoT devices. And this is the profile generation. So you run this, you will learn what traffic coming in, and then create a firewall rule in here, right? And this firewall rule can be applied to the device, right? So as a nurse, I can come and say, okay, I want to connect this infusion pump to this device. So I just select assign to what infusion pump or MRI machine. So non-technical people can actually provision the IoT and apply all the policy to it. You don't need to know what is VLAN, what is firewall, and all those things, but you can apply that. That's what we develop application, Defender application. So this is some statistics. So you can now do inventory. What are your IoT device on your network? So a lot of IT people do not know IoT, cannot manage the IoT, so they don't know how many. So now with these tools, you'll be able to see how many IoT devices are on your network. You can manage them. What is the performance? Where are they connected to? All those things can be done. So what is the use case? So with now, everybody working from home, quarantine and all this, now you can actually extend your network to the home, right? By using IoT Defender, connect to, let's say, your some devices on your network, whether it's wireless or wired. Now I can monitor this. What is this guy doing? Can do home patient care example. This is a home patient care, right? Another, and you can also do location tracking, right? If you have a floor plan, you can see where's this device. So I think that's all I have. I'm going to open up for question.
Okay, thanks, Raymond. Yeah, so far we have some questions. I think that came when you were presenting about the Cloud IQ.
Okay.
Yeah, correct. So first question here: all models of AP, for all models of AP, can we customize or is it fixed?
Customize you mean support by the Cloud IQ or what?
Yeah. This question came during the Cloud IQ presentation.
Can we customize or what do you mean customize? I do not understand the question.
Okay.
Customize in terms, or maybe we can open out the line so that he can talk, whoever asked this question, right? Can we do that?
Okay, hang on.
Right?
Maybe let's move to the next question first.
Okay, let's move to the next question. AP on-prem and Wi-Fi controller is on the cloud. Is that correct? No, the Wi-Fi controller, there's no controller anymore. You install the AP on-prem. If you are directly connecting to the cloud, then the cloud is built by us. There's no controller. If you are talking about Wing 7, then it's different. The Wing 7 AP, the Wing 7 controller will be on-prem. Then they managed by the cloud. So there's no controller in the cloud. Okay? So hope that answers the question. Does it have SD-WAN route? We have an SD-WAN product also. Basically, you mean just on the end-to-end? Yeah, we do have an SD-WAN route. So let me show you the demo. Okay, so the SD-WAN, let's look at managed devices. Okay. So these are the devices that we manage. So let me show you an example of how we manage the switches. So I have a X440G2 here. Let's see. And okay, let's look at this. So now I can look at the switches, right? The performance of the switches, which port is connected to what, right? Where the switches is, and also now I can also do SSH configuration to configure the switch using SSH, right? So that's how we manage the switch. For the Wing AP, we can go to this one. This is the A533 AP. Right? So now I can look at the scorecard, availability, or how many devices connected, what is the CPU utilization, channel, the 80 and 20 megahertz. This is 2x2 and 3x3, right? OAC, right? So you can actually manage the Wing devices right now, right? From the visibility. So later on, we will add configuration capability, right? So SD-WAN, we do have SD-WAN product here. This is some XR, this is SD-WAN, right? So this is the SD-WAN router that we have. So if you need a SD-WAN function, remote branch office or what, we can use this. This one have 8 Ethernet port, 5 Ethernet port that you can connect, PoE devices, right? All these are connected here. Just now the question with the thing is this, right? So let me find James. Okay. Yeah, so there's a SD-WAN here. This is the SD-WAN. So from the router, you go to the SD-WAN. So this is the VGVA is our SD-WAN gateway. And this is SD-WAN, our XR 600. So you can connect to SD-WAN. Yeah, you can manage all of that. Right? Hope that answered the question. Any other question?
So I think on that same question, right? Does it work as a network access control?
Network access control is NAC. It's different. NAC is
okay.
So for NAC, network access control, we have a A3, which is a cloud NAC that you can actually sitting on the cloud that you can use that to manage. So here, like for example here, let me see whether I have a NAC here. A view of the NAC. Yeah. Oh no, this one do not have a A3. So there's a A3 tab that we can add if you have the license for that, right? And also for NAC, you can have a local NAC like extreme control manage doing all the NAC feature, and then we can do that. But the AP itself have basic functionality for radius server, so you can configure a radius server captive portal on the AP and do that. But it's not the real NAC that do all the access control. Okay.
Okay. So back to the first question. The earlier question.
I mean customized spec. Example like AP122 not included antenna, but if you want to customize AP122 with an antenna, so AP122 is a internal antenna AP. So you cannot add antenna like that. If you want an external antenna version, we do have some external antenna version with the X behind, AP122X. Then you need to order the X version. Like for example, the 305C is an internal antenna version. Then we have a 305CX is an external antenna. Then you have to buy that. You cannot buy an internal antenna and use an external antenna. There's no point to connect. Okay?
Okay, got it. So you just need to buy the correct model, yeah?
Yes, exactly.
All right. I think any other questions from the attendees?
Anybody got any other question?
So maybe I have one question here. Let's talk about the cloud subscription. So we understand that it's subscription based, right? And just what will happen with the wireless devices once these cloud subscription is over? Will it work as it was working earlier, or will all the devices stop functioning?
Okay, very good question. So basically, let's say you buy a subscription for 1 year, and after 1 year you never renew. So what happened is that when you didn't renew, you cannot access to the cloud, but whatever you already configure and running will still run. Your AP will still run by itself, even though your subscription expire. But now, without the subscription, you cannot make changes. You cannot go and change the configuration of the switch or the what, right? So it become unmanaged, right? You want to look at some of this information, the machine learning information, all this will be gone. But important thing is that the connect is still there. Means if I didn't buy, you see, remember we have 4 levels I was telling you, like you have the connect level. The connect level, even you don't have subscription, you can access. You can make very basic changes, but you cannot get the machine learning inside information. You cannot configure policy. You cannot configure captive portal. You cannot do all this without the subscription. And then all the ML, all this whole lot here is gone. You cannot access without the subscription. Okay? But
okay.
You still can configure, maybe you want to add a new SSID. Yes, you can add that. But that's about it. Very basic thing. Because the basic connection and the configuration is free. But anything else, you need to pay subscription. Okay?
Okay.